The sexual act is a sacrament. The sexual act is a sacrament. This is how ancient people understood it. There were temples dedicated to love, where loving couples practiced supersexuality. Let us remember the Temple of Venus in the August Rome of the Caesars. Let us remember the temples of ancient Chaldea. Let us remember the sacred temples of India, where they worship that which is called love, that which in Gnosis it is known as supersexuality. There, in those sacred temples, at the supreme moment of metaphysical copulation, the old texts of ancient wisdom point out, man and woman withdrew from such chemical copulation without ejaculating the ens seminis, that is, the entity of semen, because it was considered that sex and sperm were sacred. No one then dared to desecrate sex. In speaking like this, we limit ourselves only to commenting on what ancient traditions say, what is written in some papyri, and in many books that currently exist in eastern Tibet. Obviously, when the ens seminis is not ejaculated, it is transformed into energy, and this comes to revitalize the physical body. We understand that this type of energy is very fine, and that the energetic waves of sex put into activity the powers that are latent in the pineal, pituitary, thyroid, and parathyroid glands. We are not trying to establish dogmas or anything like that. We only refer data that we have studied, and that today we send to you, dear reader, since we are in a time of great cultural, spiritual, intellectual concerns. We understand that this Gnostic notebook reaches very cultured people who can perfectly accept or reject these statements. We only limit ourselves to commenting on our research. The American physiologist, Brown Squard, demonstrated that many diseases, nerves and brain, could disappear if precisely what is called orgasm in physiology or spasm were avoided during chemical copulation. Naturally, Brown Squard was much criticized. He was considered immoral, but there is no doubt that he approached a great secret, the secret of supersexuality. The supersexuals of all times, precisely due to their religious training and their special chemical copulation, enjoyed faculties that human beings of this time were unaware of. See the V.M. Samuel Unwer says, "In love there is a secret, and this one seems to me to have been very well studied by Sigmund Freud, the sublimation of the creative energy." Obviously, man and woman are like two parts of the same being. The man left Eden accompanied by his wife, and he must return to Eden with his wife. In other words, he would say, man left Eden through the doors of sex, and only through that door can he return to Eden. Eden is the same sex. What enormous powers would be awakened if humanity accepted the system of Oneida community, or the Brown Squard, or the Crumb-Heller? This is something that doctors, men of science could investigate. I simply limit myself to thinking that from the transmutation and sublimation of creative energy, a radical psychological, physiological, biological transformation results. Nietzsche's Superman could be achieved through the transmutation of sexual libido. However, the main thing is to know how to love. Without love, it is not possible to perform all these wonders. Notice that always next to the great men, the great women appear. In front of Gautama Buddha, there is Yodisha, his beautiful wife and disciple. Next to the divine rabbi of Galilee, Mary Magdalene appears. Obviously, it would not be possible for great men to carry out gigantic tasks such as those that have allowed them to change the course of history if they were not accompanied by some woman. Man and woman, in reality, I repeat, are two aspects of the same being. That's clear. Love, in itself, comes from the unknown of our being. I want to say, emphatically, that within ourselves, there in the most intimate depths, we possess our being. This has transcendental characteristics of eternity. This is the divine in us. Love, I say, is the force that emanates from that divine prototype, existing in the depths of our consciousness. It is a type of energy capable of performing true wonders. Valentine and the Valentinians had their school. It was a Gnostic school where the mysteries of sex were studied, where they were carefully analyzed. Valentine and the Valentinians truly knew the secret of supersexuality. They sublimated the creative energy and achieved the development of certain psychic possibilities that are latent in the human race. We have been told that Valentine was a great enlightened one, a great master in the most complete sense of the word. Love, in itself, is something divine. Let us look at the Kala Hamsa swan. It is